Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the judges, teachers, guests, participants versus 2026 residential international symposium 2026. Now, I'd like to introduce our judges today. The chief judge is Dr. Senior Lecturer Institute Institute on Reading Baki Kuda. The second judge is Ms. Nora Fadi Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Welcome judges, teachers, guests, and participants of Fully Residential Schools International Symposium 2026. Now, I'd like to introduce our judges today. The chief judge is Dr. Ilham binti Ismail, Senior Lecturer, Institute Aminuddin Baki, Kedah. The second judge is Miss Nur Zafarini binti Norizan from Sekolah Berasrama Penuh Integrasi Kubang Pasu. And the third judge is Miss Fakhrani binti Abdul Rahman from Sekolah Menengah Agama Persekutuan Labu. And I, Izul Ilman bin Muhammad Zahizul from Sekolah Menengah Sains Tengku Abdullah, while the timekeepers Nur Amina Raishah binti Ahmad Kamal and Zafri Muaz bin Zaki Maududi are from Akademi Sains Pendang, Kedah. Now, allow me to read the rules. Each team should consist of presenters and a technical assistant. The presentation must focus on the sub-theme assigned to the team. The duration of the presentation should not be more than 10 minutes. The bell will ring once at the 9th minute and twice at the 10th minute. A question and answer session will be conducted after each presentation. Now, let's hear from the first team, Sekolah Menengah Sains Tuanku Jaafar, to present.
Today, we're going to talk about time travel. But our budget wasn't big enough to build a DeLorean. So that's why we built something far more powerful, a classroom that can prepare students for the future.
This is not a science fiction movie. This could be our reality. Just like Martin McFly traveled to the future, but instead we travel to the future of education.
In the movie, Marty traveled through time and changed the future. But in our case, we ask a different question. What if we redesign education before the future arrives? To help visualize our content beyond static slide, we developed an interactive website. Rather than simply explaining our ideas, we wanted you to experience them. Now, let's take a look at our table of content. We start by introducing future-ready classroom and sustainable development goal, investigate educational shortcoming, analyze online statistics and student responses, discuss our suggested solution, and finally conclude with our vision for the future of education. What is future-ready classroom? We define a future-ready classroom as a learning environment that prepares students for more than just examination. It goes beyond the four walls of traditional education by developing digital literacy, interpersonal skills, critical thinking, and creativity. This is where education meets innovation. We define it this way because students need more than just education knowledge to succeed in the future. You need to know that our project directly supports Sustainable Development Goal 4, quality education, which aims to build an inclusive education and promoting lifelong learning opportunity for all. Specifically, Target 4.3 focuses on equal access to technical, vocational, and higher education, giving the student practical skill and real-world experiences. Next, we also included Target 4.8, which aims to build a safe and effective environment that engages students to be more personalized and receive countless opportunities.
Your Honor, just like Martin McFly traveled to the future to understand what lies ahead, we look into the present to understand how students truly felt. Throughout our survey, we find the most significant sign that helped us shape our vision into picturing what a future-ready classroom looks like. The most significant find from our survey is that student engagement actually received the highest number of response, with include 50% chance of. This conclude that the student is not only concerned about technology, but also how the technology is preserved and how involved they are in the environment learning. Next up, we go to technology. While the student recognized the importance of technology, they also indicated that the technology cannot stand alone to face up with future education challenges. They need to combine with engaging learning experiences. All this finding truly fit our future-ready classroom concept. A future-ready classroom is not just a simple classroom filled with advanced devices, but instead is a learning environment that kept students actively engaged while prepared for future obstacles.
To better understand the current state of education in ASEAN, we looked at OECD's PISA's 2022 rankings. As you can see, there's a noticeable gap between countries such as of top performers such as Singapore and other countries across ASEAN. Instead of predicting the future, this chart illustrates our aspirational goals for ASEAN by 2031. As you can see, if we believe that if countries successfully addresses these educational issues, they can move towards these targets. These are only illustrative benchmarks and not official OECD projections. Our first challenge is the relevance gap. Studies from the Asian Development Bank state that mainstreams are still taught primarily to pass examinations rather than to solve real-world issues. As new careers emerge and technology evolves, many graduates are still left struggling to adapt to changing workplace environments. Next, our next challenge is the digital divide. From the ERIA, it states that ASEAN countries' technological access still remains unequal. While some students benefit from high-speed internet as well as digital resources. Some students have no access or limited access at all. This means that students lack the digital skills needed for today's 21st century world. And last but certainly not least, we have the learning quality gap. Differences in learning quality as well as teaching resources means that a student's future is based on where they live instead of their potential. Meaning to say the fact that although the quality in these ASEAN regions are very different, these three issues are not isolated. They're interconnected. To solve this issue, we can't just solve one. We need an ecosystem that solves all three at once.
One of ASEAN's biggest strengths is collaboration, where a country with more advanced digital education system can share their technology, best practice, and expertise to those countries who are still developing. By working together, we can bridge the digital divide, expand learning experiences, and ensure that every student receives the opportunity and has the opportunity to succeed. Many students struggle to learn independently due to the limited access to reliable educational resources and also having trouble with digital distraction. Without further ado, introducing BrainBench, a smart desk with secure educational tablet. It provides trusted learning materials and also personalized academic support. But don't worry, it's designed to block students from distracting applications such as Instagram, Roblox, and whatever during study session. Overall, BrainBench can help students to become more of an independent learner, improve their concentration, and also achieve a better academic outcome. Next, we have Time Capsule VR. Time Capsule VR is a virtual reality system that records and recreates classroom lessons. Students who miss classes due to sickness, attending competition, and also other reasons can re-attend the class anytime they want. It provides immersive 3D learning experiences, making the student feel as if they are attending the classroom in real time. With Time Capsule VR, students will never miss a lesson again. And lastly, we have SAGE, Student Analysis Growth Engine, an AI-empowered educational program that both support teachers and students. It helps teachers to detect student learning weaknesses, and based on the student performance, SAGE will provide a guideline for students to patch up those weak spots again. And at this point, SAGE can be a personal guide and mentor to students because it can help students to improve more efficiently while achieve faster academic glow up.
People of the whole, judges of the whole, we must look at the education system. First, we have Singapore. Singapore has one of the world's highest performing education system. Singapore does not only prioritize bilingualism, holistic development, or customer learning path, they also emphasize on building character. This proves that this education system has prepared the student for an emerging economy. Next, we have Japan, a dearest partner of Asia. Japan does not only prioritize academic knowledge, but also about building character. Through Soji, students develop responsibility by caring for their own learning environment. Dotoko, or moral education, teaches them integrity, respect, and empathy, while the Kishoku school lunch system teaches them respect, teamwork, and gratitude. This proves that this education system does not only produce knowledgeable students, but also responsible citizens. Next, we're going to talk about our future-ready classroom layout. Future-ready classroom layout does not only contain modern technology and architecture, it is an environment built around teachers and students. Thus, our future-ready classroom layout contains flexible seating arrangement that encourage collaboration. It is also embedded with technology such as smartboard and wireless projection. We also encourage them to use this system called peer learning system that could develop leadership and teamwork.
Panel, learning doesn't only happen within the four walls of the classroom. It happens in our workplaces, communities, and everyday experiences, which is why we created the Classroom Without Walls passport. Instead of solely earning credit through academic achievement, students gain recognition from participating in internship, entrepreneurship, and community projects. Each experience is verified and recorded, encouraging students to apply what they learn inside the classroom, inside their everyday experiences, encouraging lifelong learning. We prepare students for life, not just examinations. But preparing students for today's world is not enough if tomorrow's world may look completely different. That's why last, but certainly not least, we have prepared the time travel internship program. where students step into the interns of 2045, where they solve the issues of tomorrow, such as AI ethics, climate resilience, as well as renewable energy. We prepare students for uncertainty, the but the catch is it's not just about the accuracy, it's about preparing students for uncertainty. Of course, even the DeLorean couldn't reach the future in a split second. It had to accelerate to 88 miles per hour first. We believe the same is true for education. At phase one, we test with pilot schools, 10 schools across the ASEAN region. In phase two, we expand to more schools in the vicinity and partner with Ministries of Education and NGOs. And phase three, we integrate it and make it a national standard. Phase four, ASEAN can finally share their best practices and improve education across the Southeast Asian region. And last,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we have shown that through our presentation that the relevance gap and learning opportunities have limiting our student potential across ASEAN. That's why we create a full future-ready classroom that integrated both combined for future-ready world.
Future-ready classroom prepares students for the future.
as Doc Brown once said, your future is not written yet. Which is why, let's stop preparing students for the past.
And start preparing them for the future.
Thank you.
I would like to invite participants to ask questions. I would like to invite the judge to ask questions.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Good morning. Congratulations for being the first presenters. Okay. Interesting slides, I would say. It's just that I have a question. Looking at your abstract and your slides, from your abstract, you mentioned feedback from students in Kuala Bila revealed that a major complaint was the poor structure of the education system. Could you please collaborate on this? I mean, like elaborate, because I did not see it on your slides
Well,
just now.
when we ask about the system, when we ask deeply, the students say that the system, what they mean by that is the engagement from the students and the teachers themselves. They express that there's many students in one classroom, for example, 50, and they say that the system says that when there's 50 students and one teacher, it's quite difficult for the teacher to actually interact with all 50 students themselves. That's why they complain about the system where other countries, such as Singapore, have a smaller size of classroom with 20 to 30 students only instead of 50 in rural areas in Kuala Pila. So that's what they actually mean by system. Sorry for the misunderstanding.
Is it one of your research objectives to identify the issues faced by the students in
Yes,
the
it
current
is.
system?
We believe that if we successfully identify the issues across ASEAN, it will help us to solve the issues throughout Southeast Asia. Thank you.
Okay, I have one question. Your data shows that engagement 55%, right?
Yeah.
And the technology is 25%. But your presentation shows us more about the technology. How you will synchronize the engagement and the technology in the future classroom?
I'm sorry, may I repeat the question? I didn't quite catch that.
Can you show us the data first? I think the second slide or the statistic. Okay. From the first. Okay, while your friend try to show us, can you listen to me for the question? Okay. Okay, this. Okay. Okay. The engagement shows us that 55%, all right? The engagement in the class, right? Okay. And the technology shows 25%. Okay, your presentation show us about the importance of the technology. So the question is how you could manage between the engagement and the technology for the future classroom to be balanced between that two demands? Okay, because your suggestion more to the technology, but the data shows the engagement need more.
That is a very good question
intervention.
from the Chief Judge. What I like to say is, let's first look at countries with great engagement, which is Singapore and Japan. While they might not have as much technology, but their system is very good, which is why we mentioned it inside our slides. But as for technology, technology is consistently evolving, which is why we prioritize technology more than at the system itself. But we still take the systems from Japan and Singapore because they create good engagement. But the system, it's already perfect. So we might not have to improve on that in the near future. But we still have to acknowledge the fact that technology is ever so rapidly evolving, which is why we want to catch up with that. As you can see, as my second speaker has stated, where she states the ranking of technology, Myanmar and Singapore has a huge disparity. And we believe that if Myanmar wants to catch up with technology, we have to prioritize technology, as technology is far more difficult to handle than the system itself. Does that answer your question, Chief Judge? Thank you.
Thank you for
just
the
for-
interesting presentation.
For the members of the hall and for the judges, we like to clarify that you may experience all of our suggestions inside the website on our Facebook IG, but for the Chief Judge, you can interact with all our suggestions in the website that we have given. Thank you to all future residential schools.
Thank you for the interesting presentation. Now, let's hear from the second team, Sekolah Menengah Sains Hulu Selangor, to present.
Alright. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning I bid to the respected panel of judges, timekeepers, teachers, and fellow peers. So today, we're going to talk about the sub-theme that we were given, sub-theme 3, Future Ready Classroom, Redefining Education for a Challenging World. But before we proceed, let me introduce you to our team members consisting of me, Adina, Iman, Ariana, and Teacher Zana.
Ladies and gentlemen, our topic for today is Future Ready Classrooms, Cultivating Human Consciousness, Ethical Intelligence, and Future Skills in an AI-driven era. Ladies and gentlemen, what does this even mean? So let's take a look one by one. Firstly, human consciousness. Human consciousness here means an individual's awareness of self, others, and the society while maintaining moral responsibility. Ethical intelligence here means the ability to evaluate situations and distinguish between the right and the wrong. And thirdly, future skills in an AI-driven era means the evolving blend of technological know-how in an AI-driven era combined with uniquely human capabilities that would thrive in a workplace or, in this context, classrooms.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, once talked about this matter. Once talked in an interview of Axel Springer in 2025 how in the future AI will fundamentally dominate the economy and a large portion of current tasks will be done by AI. And on the other hand, Sherry Turkle, a professor of social studies of science and technology from the MIT, once talked about this matter in her most recent book called The Empathy Diaries, a memoir, where she talks about how as we integrate AI in our personal and emotional lives, humans are at risk of becoming less empathetic and more emotionally distant. And these statements have been the shade of the light for our today's problem statement, which is in an AI-driven future, human qualities are at risk of erosion due to the fast-changing world. And of course, our research came with the objectives, which is to identify the human qualities that we must preserve, to examine the role of future-ready classrooms, and to propose a framework for education in an AI-driven era. So all of these, ladies and gentlemen, have risen a matter of concern within ourselves. As education becomes increasingly AI-driven, the concern is not whether if humans, in this context, students, can compete with AI, but rather how AI-powered student-centered learning can help retain the human qualities that AI can never replicate. So humans can finally adapt and learn how to coexist with AI.
Members of the hall, in our research, we use two different methods, one being the online survey and the other one being the online research. Now, let us take a look at the questionnaires. From our survey, out of 130 participants, 43.1% agreed that rapid advancement in artificial intelligence will significantly change the knowledge and skills students need in the future. Whereas for question number 6, future generations, 46.9% strongly agreed that future generations may become more individualistic and materialistic if education focuses mainly on achievements, competition, and economic success. Whereas for question number 7, 52.3% strongly agreed that schools plays a critical role in nurturing self-awareness, integrity, and strong moral value among students. And for question number 10, 60.8% strongly agreed that empathy, ethical judgment, creativity, and wisdom should be considered as core outcomes of future education.
But before we proceed, we want to clarify that for our today's focus, we want to focus on how do we build an AI-ready generation that can thrive while also maintaining human qualities in an AI-driven future. And today, we present to you the potentials of AI-powered student-centered learning. Firstly, students will learn that while a machine can generate data, only humans can possess the moral framework and to determine what is really ethical, fair, and true. And AI student-centered AI-powered student-centered learning help students preserve their self-esteem and also allow them to confidently associate and participate while working in teams with their classmates in classrooms. Next, student-centered AI modules also have showed a significant increase in learning motivation and increased their confidence in creative problem solving. And last but not least, adaptive AI system can adjust to the difficulty and to the student's personalized learning of style of learning. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, now let's move to the land of the sunrise, Japan. So why do we choose Japan? We choose Japan because Japan is ranked at number 5 for PISA according to the Organization of Economics and Core Development. Now, according to the UNESCO International Center for Higher Education, based on UNESCO International Center for Higher Education Innovation 2025, the growth projection from 2019 to until 2030, there will be an increase by 99% for critical reflection, 97% for moral reasoning, and 100% for creative synthesis.
So today we are really glad to present to you an example of AI-powered student-centered learning implementation from Japan. Tokyo Metropolitan Koishikawa Secondary Education School. It is a school that combines 6-year junior high and senior high school and follows the baseline of AI Strategy 2019 Giga School Program. And in this school, they require students to use digital devices that is paired with adaptive AI-driven education software that is being monitored by their teachers. So all of you must be wondering, what really is AI Strategy 2019 Giga School Program? It is a framework by Japan for Japan's national plan, Society 5.0, that is aiming to transform Japan to an AI global leader. And this strategy uses classroom devices that is being powered by AI to handle basic data, so humans can really focus on what really matters. In this context, humans is the students and the teachers can really focus on uniquely human skills such as emotional communication and also creativity. In this strategy, AI is used to track data of the software that they use to really identify a student's strengths and weaknesses so they can fit to the student's personalized learning style. And in this strategy, they also focuses on AI literacy skills for each student.
With all of that being said, now let us take a look at what are the initiatives that can be done. Firstly, we need to start moving away from banning technology, but instead teach them how to use. Secondly, we need students to utilize a generative AI as a critical thinking partner rather than just an answer machine. And thirdly, we need students to start to conduct weekly self audits to evaluate their reliance on AI, which means to differentiate them between passive reliance and also productive assistance.
So for our research today, we have come up with a conclusion that we want a future-ready classroom that cultivates human consciousness, ethical intelligence, and future skills. So students can remain humane, distinctively humane in an AI-driven future. That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite the judge to ask questions.
Yes, Assalamualaikum. Very good morning. Can I look back at your problem statement? First page, is it? Go back. First page.
First page.
Yes, Judge.
All right. As mentioned there, it's like in my opinions, right? It's like what I know about this one, right? The problem statement is like how AI affect human qualities in the risk of erosion, right? All right. So based on your research, right? So which part of this is it the problem? Have it solved or not? And then which part of is like I just refer to the problem statement mentioned, and then maybe I mislead or okay. Is it possible for you to mention which part of is it solved a bit the problem statement here?
I'm sorry, but Judge, can you please simplify the question because we didn't really catch it.
Hello. Okay, Miss Vakradi, please correct me. Okay, if I'm wrong. So basically, she's asking about problem statement. So basically, when you are constructing a problem statement, you have to look at previous research and what have been done. So here we don't see any support on that. So maybe you can elaborate on this. What did past research mention about AI-driven future, and why do you need to study this further? Am I correct? Macam tu lah.
Okay. To support our research, we have taken the statement from Axel Springer interview in 2025 with Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, which he states that in the future, AI will fundamentally dominate the economy. In this context, AI in the future. So we're talking about in an AI-driven future, human qualities are at risk of erosion due to the fast-changing world. And to support our experiment statement where human qualities are at risk of erosion, the support for our research is by Professor Sherry Tucker, the Professor of Social Studies of Science and Technology from the MIT, whereby she talks about this matter in her book, in her most recent book, the Empathy Diaries, a memoir. Does it?
No research paper.
Our research paper.
No research paper that supports.
Research paper.
But you have.
Okay, I have
Thank you
one
very much for the
question.
question. Yes.
Okay, relax. Okay. Your presentation elaborate about the AI powered classroom, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many AI powered classroom that we have in Malaysia right now?
So we're talking about Malaysia's implementation of AI-powered classrooms.
Okay, Malaysia right now have the AI powered classroom since 2025. Do you know how many classes that we have in all of the Malaysian state?
Well, we do not have exact number for Malaysia's AI-powered classrooms, but we do know that in the most recent strategy for education in Malaysia, which is in RPM 2026 to 2035, yes,
35.
2030, where they don't really use AI in full scale, but the government is recently trying to improve and increase digital and physical infrastructures in schools, so that only then we can implement AI in our classrooms, because only then all of the schools have the opportunity and the access for AI implementation in
Okay.
classrooms.
Referring to our Ministry of Education, so in 2025, we have 11 AI powered classroom. And right now, the AI powered classroom will increase to 260 classroom. And our YBM, you know our YBM?
YB Fadina Sidik.
Yes, right. So she has announced to increase the AI powered classroom. So for your future writing, I suggest you will more focus to write about our country, our context, Malaysia, because your presentation more about the other country, Japan. You elaborate more about the another country, but we have the AI powered classroom. You can go in deep and you can study more about the AI powered classroom in Malaysia. All right? Thank you.
Thank you for your
Very
suggestion,
much.
Judge. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Hulu Selangor, for the informative presentation. Now, I would like to invite Sekolah Menengah Sains Gua Musang to present.
to learn, to grow, and to succeed? Well, we stand here before you not only as pupils, but as advocates for a future where education open doors for everyone. Hi, my name is Tuan Arisha, and I am from Gomusang, Kelantan.
My name is Amirul Naufal. I'm from Kota Baru, Kelantan.
My name is Alia and I'm from Bentong, Pahang.
And we are proudly representing the first sis of Gomusang Science School, Kelantan. And yes, we come from the land of Musang King, a place that is well known for its rich culture, natural beauty, and most importantly, young minds filled with unlimited potential. And just like the famous Musang King itself that has gained recognition far beyond our district, we believe that the potential and talent of every pupils from every corner of Malaysia deserve the same opportunity to shine on a bigger stage.
Today, we would like to present our topic under Sustainable Development Goals 4, SDG 4, which our topic entitled Brighter Minds, Broader Horizon, Opening Doors, Leveling Fields. Our research explores how equal education towards students, technology and opportunities enable students to achieve their full potential. Next slide, please.
Now, for the second time, why don't we all imagine what if there are two students with the same talent and determination, but the difference is that one student have the access of learning resources and digital tools, while the other students faces limited opportunities. The question is, will they have the same chances to succeed? Well, this question inspired our research because we believe that every student, regardless of their backgrounds, should have the equal opportunities to education.
Our research focuses on three key elements: equality, access, and opportunities. These factors are interconnected. When pupils have equal access to resources and education, they tend to develop their latent skills and hence achieve success. Now, regarding about the problem statement, we've identified three major problems. First one is the limited opportunities for certain pupils, crucially in low-income communities and rural areas. Secondly, is the lost Einstein phenomenon. For your information, the lost Einstein phenomenon is basically where talented pupils remain undiscovered due to the lack of resources and access. Lastly, is the effect of unequal education exposure to the regional development and future growth.
Next are the research objectives. Based on the problem statement that are identified from the previous slide, we can finally finalize the research objectives for our topic. The first one is to create pathways for pupils to enhance their skills and abilities, while the second one is to explore how technology and artificial intelligence can create opportunities for high potential pupils. By these two research objectives that we finalized and concluded, we now can summarize that these two research objectives has one thing in common, which is the statement: technology and artificial intelligence are becoming more essential in modern day learning. Next is the methodology. The methodology showcases the research methods we use on our topic. The first one is passive reading, literature reviews of educational articles and reports. The second one is Google Form survey, which we created a questionnaire and passed down to pupils all over our district. And lastly, interviews with pupils from our schools and also secondary schools from our district. Not only by these methods we could gather and gain statistical data, but also real-life experiences.
Our survey reveals several challenges among pupils, which are limited access to technology, poor internet connectivity, financial constraints, and also unequal educational opportunities. Next slide, please. Many people believe that the uses of AI and technology are not. Many people believe that the uses of AI and technology can improve learning, but the access remains unequal. And on this slide, we have set up a QR code of our survey that we have sent to our interviews. Next slide.
Next, we would like to further explain the lost Einstein phenomenon. Now, the main concept is many pupils remain undiscovered due to the lack of resources, access to quality education, mentorship, and also technology. During our interviews, pupils shared that AI enabled them to understand lenses more effectively. However, in rural areas and low-income communities, pupils struggles with internet access as well as teachers be needing more training regarding the use of digital tools in classrooms. That's it. Okay. Now, our findings through interviews. We've conducted interviews with Guam's pupils as well as secondary schools across Guamusang. Based on our interview and survey, we found that artificial intelligence is a very essential tool in learning, especially in the 21st century. Secondly, pupils also highlighted how teachers also need training in the usage of AI and technology in their classroom. And last but not least, pupils from low incomes also need more internet access, where the government plays a vital role in supplying them in classrooms to have more access to internet and technology.
Next, our findings also align perfectly with RPM Teras 2, which is Rancangan Pendidikan Malaysia Teras 2. This strategic pillar focuses mainly on students' development. And you may ask, how can student development be aligned perfectly for our topic today? Well, the core philosophy of this pillar is equity. It means that each student, regardless of their background, gets necessary tools, support, and pathways to succeed.
These are our respondent and interviewees. Slide. Based on our findings, we are recommending to improving the internet connection in rural areas, providing devices for disadvantaged students, strengthening the digital literacy and AI education, offering continuous technology learning for teachers, and also not to forget expanding the fundings and consistently assistance program. And most importantly, this effort supports the Rancangan Pendidikan Malaysia Teras 2, RPM Teras 2, by providing equal opportunities to all the pupils, reducing the urban-rural gaps between education, and also helps every pupils to achieve their full potential.
In conclusion, a pupil's success should not be measured by the length of their financial status, location, or access to technology. Each pupil deserves equal rights and equal opportunities to learn, thrive, and succeed.
These are the citations that structure our research. Now, these citations ensure the reliability of our findings.
From the land of Musang King, we believe that every pupil deserves rights to shine, because the difference is not talent, it is opportunity.
From the land of Musang King,
Thank you so much
for your attention.
Now we are ready to answer any questions from the judges and audiences.
I would like to invite the judge to ask questions.
Hello, congratulations for the presentation. My
Thank you.
question is simple. So just now you mentioned about your respondents. May I know why did you limit your respondents' age to 13 to 16 instead of including the 17 years old? Because what is the range of youth age to berapa?
Oh,
right? So
range.
why didn't you include 70-year-olds?
So our range is in secondary schools across Gobusang. In our school, with our students range from Form 1 all the way from Form 5, and same goes to the across Gobusang. Hmm? We include
we
Form
do
5.
include Form 5. Can you open the slide?
Just a- What is?
Sebab dia nak tengok ya IQ. Macam style.
Yang tadi tu.
Previous. Ah.
We do interviews the students from the range of 13 to 16, but we put up a survey from Google Forms for the students and 4 and across the Gongusang Kelantan. Yes.
Yes, Form 5 is not included. Because we have a hard time accessing the Form 5s because they want to focus on their SPM. So, yeah. So, any more questions?
Right. It's like mine is like suggestion. It's not question, but for your solutions, why don't you just focus on one thing? Can we? It's not stated solution, but at the back. Sorry, next. You give 4 solutions, I think. Next. The last 2 slides, I think. This one. Right. You are given 4, right? So maybe you can focus on one. Maybe improve internet access. Maybe you can focus on that and then come up with the solution how to improve on internet access in that area. Okay, rather than give 4 common, is that not? Is right? Focus on one. Next time for that. I mean, that's my suggestion. It's not question actually. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, your presentation tell us about the Albert Einstein, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what is the IQ of the Albert Einstein? Do you know? The level of IQ for the Albert Einstein, do you know?
Like the range of students or?
No. When we talk
Oh.
about a genius person, so there are a number that we can leverage it between the normal person and the genius person. So Albert Einstein is one of the very genius person in the world, and we refer to him about many things. So do you know the IQ? Albert Einstein IQ.
More than 100. More than 200. More than 200.
Okay,
Probably.
160. Okay. But here, we are here, and this is what name of the school?
Academy Science Pendam.
Okay, what actually the student here? Is it they come from the instrument of the IQ test, and then they are study here? Is it right?
Yes.
This is the right place. You can go do survey. You can go do survey by Google Form. You can collect the data from them. They are friend of SBP school. This is our friend. This is the first school in the KPM that have the IQ test required for entering this school. Okay, that is more better for your writing. You can do it better. You get the pure result. Is that correct? No opportunity to them to further their study, because I just see in their Facebook, okay, they report about 14 students graduate last year 2025 get the best scholarship in the international school, okay, in the world. You can go to their Facebook and you can refer it. Yes, they have opportunity. Okay, so quite contra to this, but it okay. This is only suggestion. And the future, this is the best place for to collect the data, the pure data. This is this place. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That is all from us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Go Musang, for stimulating presentation.
Good morning, everyone, distinguished judges, teachers, and fellow participants. Today, I am very honored to stand alongside of many great people that is present in this room. Now, we want to talk about one and the utmost modern distractions that is very commonly appeared during the learning process, which is the digital distraction during learning process. So, to prevent this thing even more, we want to talk about our project, which is the D-Zone Digital Detox Program at school to enhance students' learning concentration. Before we start, please let me introduce my team member first. We have Bargani Zulfikar Indarta, Faras Rizky Hidayat, and myself, Muhammad Era Noval, under the supervision of Ms. Tasya Amalia Dwi Haryani, SPD. Without further ado, let's just start our presentation. For the first presenters, please, the floor is yours.
So, based on students' academic ability, Indonesia is ranked 69th out of the 80 other countries. But this is based on PISA, or Program for International Student Assessment, which assesses the students' capability to use mathematics, literature, and science in order to solve real-world problems. But from this data you can see right here, it is shown that Indonesia is very much lacking in its academic ability. How could this be, Bargani?
So apparently, Faras, on the research done by Padma Sari, we can learn that students' learning outcomes are not only determined by the materials that they learn, but also by the level of concentration during their learning process. And as time moves on, technology advances along with it. And as technology advances, the problems that emerge are high screen time usages. These high screen time usages triggers distraction and decrease of concentration in learning. And so, as a solution, we want to implement digital detox or the D-Zone program to increase students' learning concentration.
Moving on, we have our problem statements and our research objectives. First, we want to see how could digital detox moderate the effects of high screen time to a student's concentration. Then we want to see how could our program or D-Zone be the right program in order to enhance the student's learning concentration. Then moving on, for our research objectives, we want to prove that the role of digital detox in moderating the negative effects of high screen time. Then we want to prove the role of our program in order to enhance the student's learning concentration.
For our methodology, we apply the quantitative comparative approach, where our processes are divided into two: data collecting and data analysis. For data collecting, we use the voluntary sampling, where the sample is taken from students who volunteered. In our classification, we have 30 students who are then divided into two groups. The first 15 are the controlling students, where they will be given access by the school to use their devices throughout the whole school day. And the other 15 are the experimental students, where they will be applied the D-Zone program. It is also noted that in this D-Zone program, it is a collaboration between us researchers and the teachers at school to make sure that the students don't use any of their devices during the school hours. And for our cluster separation, we have grade 10 students as the control group and grade 11 students as the experimental group. These two groups, by the end of the school day, will be presented with the same research about digital detox. And by the end of the presentation, they will be given a questionnaire and a post-test. For a questionnaire, we use the Likert scale to obtain students' concentration data and a post-test that acts as a supporting data. For data analysis, we use the SPSS application to test the data received. And our first test is the Shapiro-Wilks normality test to test the distribution of data. Our second test is the bootstrapping test to estimate the accuracy, variability, and reliability of sample estimates.
Moving on to the results of our data. So I must clarify first that we will use the y-axis as the dependent or the fixed variable, which is the frequencies we've got from the data we've talked to the students for. And then for the x-axis, we'll use it as the independent or as the free variable that will change throughout the topic we will given to you guys. So first, we have the average screen time collection results. So after we got the ones who volunteered and the ones who wanted to be in our program, we've got that the control group shows the average amount of screen time around 8 to 10 hours per day, whereas the experimental group shows an average of around 5 to 8 hours per day. So this explains that the control groups actually have a slightly higher amount of screen time rather than the experimental group. Moving on to the results of the questionnaire score and the results of supporting data. For the questionnaire score, this is for the first questionnaire that we've spread, which is actually contain 30 statements that we've got from the students. So for the control groups, for the scores of the questionnaire, actually, most of them are reaching only below 100, whereas the experimental group reaches mostly above 100 scores, even reaching the maximum score of 150. And then for the supporting data we've got after the post-presentation test, for the control group, they only reached the maximum score of 8, averaging in 6 to 7. And for the experimental group, they reached the maximum score of 9.5, averaging at 7. Next one, we've got the categories. For the learning concentration category, for the control group, they're actually in the medium categories based from the questionnaires. And then for the experimental group, they are 100% high. For the learning concentration category based on score, this is after the post-presentation test. They've got actually still on medium, but they've actually got low categories also. And then for the experimental group, still on high, but they also got medium.
And for a research outcome, we can see in the table or image above that the data of digital detox towards the questionnaire score shows a score of negative 0.821, which is significant to the level of 0.001, with the confidence interval of lower and upper being negative. This means that digital detox can in fact moderate the negative effects of screen time towards students' learning concentration. It is also supported based on the ego depletion and attention restoration theory, where this intervention moderates by cutting off the cognitive damage pathways, like keeping devices away, stopping mental energy depletion, and restoring the prefrontal cortex's capacity. And as the negative effects of screen time reduces, where we can see from the data before that the experimental group has a far more superior score than the control group, it is also supported based on the habituation theory, where their superiority was due to the rules becoming habits. These rules were the D-zone program being applied for a much longer time on the experimental group. And our next data, we can see that digital detox towards the duration of screen time shows a score of 0.229, which is not significant to the level of 0.001, with the confidence interval of lower being negative and upper being positive. This means that digital detox cannot moderate the duration of screen time. The insignificant result was due to the data of the duration of screen time collected being weekly, whereas we only applied the D-zone program for 3 hours, which, based on the dual process theory, states that it is not enough, and it only acts as an external control, and it cannot moderate the impulsive habits of the system one's brain. But worry not, because if the D-zone program were to be applied for a much longer time, it is sure to suppress the negative effects and moderate the duration of screen time, as seen in the data of the experimental group.
So, in conclusion, the implementation of digital detox is an effective way in order to reduce the negative effects of high screen time. Then, our program or D zone is indeed the right program or the effective program to significantly reduce the screen time that the students have while also enhancing their students' learning capability. Because it can be seen that from the data before, the grade 11 or the experimental group or the group that has been given our program has a significantly better concentration than the control group. That will be all.
That will be all for our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Now, I would like to invite the judge to ask questions.
Hi. First of all, congratulations. Excellent research, I would say. I just want some clarification on your control and experimental group. So you mentioned about the average hours per day, right? So the control group is supposed to be the group that you control, like.
Okay, thank you very
Yeah.
much for asking. We divided it into the control group and experimental group. It's separated into two, right? Okay, so actually the control group is the one with actually freely give them will to use their phones on the day. Whereas the experimental group is actually the one who got our program, which is the D-Zone program. Does that clarify your question?
Okay, so you did not set any specific hours for the control group, but rather for the experimental one, no?
Yes,
Is
so we implemented this program or the D-Zone or the digital detox program to the experimental ones. For the control group, we give them the free will to use the phone. Does that clarify your question?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, congratulations. I have one question. Your presentation written there about the ego depletion and attention restoration theory. Kan? Right, okay, kan. Okay, why do you choose this theory for your research?
Because thank you for the question, request to answer. We chose the ego depletion and attention restoration theory because it is also proven that the duration of screen time also affects the students' mental capacity or the way their brain works, as it can slow down the way our brain processes as the students absorb a lot more screen time. That is why, and that also significantly affects the concentration of students. That is why we picked the ego depletion and attention restoration theory.
Okay.
Thank you.
But today, these two theory have a little bit controversial. Okay, to persuade us to refer them because some one of the other dimension in these theories is about the willpower, right? Okay, willpower and self-control. So maybe you can go back and do more reading about this. Is it enough to put it in this your research, or do we have another researcher atau theories contribute to modern system right now? Okay, because this theory a little bit controversial for using now today's. All right. Okay. But another thing, congratulations. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then that will be all for our presentation. The data has speaks for itself. the D-Zone program has actually proven to be an effective way to enhance the students' learning concentration and to reduce the duration of the students' screen time. That is why we wanted to implement this program worldwide, so many of you too can also implement this program and to enhance the students' learning concentration. Thank you very much for listening. I'll be handing back to the main event committee.
Thank you, SMA Edu Global from Indonesia, for a fascinating presentation. Now, I would like to invite the last team from Sekolah Menengah Sains Sabah to present.
Imagine the cold air on your skin as you stand by a river, unable to get to school because the crossing has been washed away. Even if you stay home, you still can't study online because there is no cellular coverage. Ladies and gentlemen, when we deprive children of education and technology, we trap them in a cycle of poverty and allow inequality to continue across generations.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I bid to the honorable judges, vice chairperson, accurate timekeeper, fellow teachers, and all members of the floor. We are Kovo Vagu Tandai from SN Sains Sabah, and today we're presenting about inclusive education where there are no children left behind from accessing education. But first, let's ensure the meaning of marginalized children, that is, children who are excluded or treated unfairly, limiting their access to education. I am Anisha Mimi, will be your first presenter and moderator. Joining me are Alia Aisha, the second presenter and reporter, Fariza Kwan as our team leader and technical assistant, lastly, Sir Zulfadli as our teacher advisor. Ladies and gentlemen, marginalized children face various barriers that prevent them from accessing education. This could make the poverty cycle continue from one generation to another, making it difficult for families to break out of poverty. So, our objective in this presentation is to identify the barriers that prevent vulnerable children from accessing education. Also analyze the importance of inclusive education in supporting marginalized children. Lastly, to find the strategic role of government, NGOs, and social media to strengthen it.
To understand the scope of our research, let's take a look at our conceptual framework. At the core of our study are marginalized children. Without intervention, the direct consequence they face is an ongoing education gap. This gap is mainly caused by intergenerational poverty. To break this cycle and bridge the gap, that brings us to government initiatives, NGO efforts, and digital platforms. These are the critical levers that can change the strength of this entire dynamic. For our research, we use a mixed method approach to gather data. First, for the qualitative data, we conducted an in-depth interview with JPN Sabah, IPG Kent, and NGO. For the quantitative data, we deployed a Google Form survey to collect and analyze public responses. Now, let's examine the reality behind this issue through literature review. Right now in Sabah, there are over 300,000 marginalized children. How did this happen? The main reasons are undocumentation and financially unstable. It starts with inherited statelessness. Families live here for generations but lack birth certificates or passports. Following a 2002 amendment to the Education Act, public schools enrollment became strictly restricted for documented citizens, establishing their exclusion. The academic divide is devastating, with 40% missing minimum learning levels developed to 2 years behind. As they grow, this invisible status means no bank accounts, no driver's licenses, and no legal housing. They are left highly vulnerable to child labor, street begging, and exploitation. Moving from theory to practice, we conducted a controlled Google Form survey involving 240 teachers from 12 states across Malaysia. To ensure balanced representation, we distributed the questionnaires to 20 teachers from each state. Our findings revealed that 35% of them are fully aware of the issue regarding marginalized children not having access to education in Sabah. From the Google survey, we can see that most of the aware respondents in Malaysia are from Sabah and Sarawak. This highlights that East Malaysian communities are more familiar with this issue compared to them in Peninsular Malaysia. Out of the 35% of the respondents who were aware of the issue, the majority, 91.4% of them, stated that they had seen related content on social media. Respondents who were aware also identified financially unstable and lack of documentation as the main barriers preventing these children from accessing the education system. Now, let us take a look at the video of the people who have supported us through this journey.
Now, currently, we only provide educations from kindergarten until primary level. Yeah, only until primary 4, but which means we hope that the student can finish complete primary 6 in when they are staying in here with us lah. So don't know how to write, don't know how to read, even with the simple words that they cannot know, they do not know, they cannot write, cannot read, even their age is already like 13, 14 or more than the actual age that's supposed to go to the school. So this is the things that motivate me to try my best to give the best education that they ever had. Yeah.
Okay, first, in our curriculum itself, we also include inclusive education, in which that we believe that education should be addressed for all students. A few programs, so we send the teachers to the rural area, for example, in the islands, or even in the interior parts of Sabah. We take the initiatives to prepare these teachers for teaching in these areas, because we believe that we are not born in a bed of roses. So yes, they need to prepare for this kind of experience in order to address marginalized children.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us now have a look at our solutions and strategies. We have divided our solutions into 3 aspects. Firstly, government support. The government funding has helped to reduce the challenges faced by low-income families through school upgrade and student financial aid. The Ministry of Education has a total of 66.2 billion ringgit towards education, while the Sabah state government has allocated 186.6 million ringgit to support B40 communities and improve educational access in rural and remote areas. Other than that, the government has also expanded the Sekolah Bimbingan Jalinan Kasih to Sabah, providing street children and undocumented children with the opportunity to receive an education. Besides government efforts, NGOs have also made significant contributions. For example, Al Shaddai Center Sabah has operated 7 learning centers across Sabah. 4 of them are in Kota Kinabalu, while the remaining centers are in Kudat, Sempurna, and Sandakan. These centers offer education from the primary level up to year 6, with charge only 15 ringgit per month. They are also supported by volunteer teachers, including some as young as 12 years old, who help guide students in their learning journey. Finally, technology has also helped marginalized children get access to education. Through social media, NGOs like Anak spread awareness about the problems faced by Sabah's unregistered children. Their social media has over 1,000 followers. They use it to share information about legal identity, citizenship rights, and stopping child labor in East Malaysia.
In conclusion, marginalized children should not be denied the right to education due to poverty, lack of documentation, or social barriers. Every child deserves equal access to learn and succeed. Therefore, all parties must work together to create a more inclusive education system so that no child is left behind. We hope that in the future, every marginalized child will be given equal access to quality education, allowing them to achieve their dreams and contribute positively to society and the nation. With that, we thank you for your time and attention. Kunsiko.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Now, I would like to invite Judge to ask questions.
Right, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Right, so welcome to Peninsula Malaysia. Actually, I've been teaching SM Science Lahadatu for 10 years. So I'm very known about Sabah situation right now. Right, but when we look at the sub-theme 3, the sub-theme itself is a future-ready classroom, redefining education for a challenging world. All right, the theme itself is about the challenging world, which is more to like, yeah, the technology itself, and then talking about AI nowadays. But I really hope that, okay, so I know you're trying your best, right? So I know the situation in Sabah nowadays, which is many of them doesn't have IC, right? It's like there will be problem for them through education. But when you're focusing on this topic, maybe you can focus a bit on your school itself, maybe, or education nearest your place, maybe. You already move on to a new building, is it? Not yet. I heard you already moved on, and all right. I heard like that, but not yet. All right, okay, all right. Maybe for your next research, maybe we can focusing on not like generally in Sabah, but like focus on locally around you, right? Because KK is quite advanced, or what you call it, developed more compared to, I think Lahadatu is like further away, right? It's like maybe 8 to 10 hours to reach KK with the right? If like using it's like a flight much more closer. But for the next feature, this is like my suggestion since okay, so I know the surrounding there. So next time, maybe for your upcoming junior, so you can focus on that. All right, just focus on locally only. All right, all right. Thank you.
Suggestion bagus ni. Okay. Okay. Your presentation is good, alright. But the scope is too big, too wide, alright. Because your objective 3, the role of government, the role of NGOs, and the role of social media, right? It's too big for your scope and your my suggestion. Okay, it's okay. We happy to see you have a big heart of your state. It's good. Okay, but for your level, this is just suggestion. Okay, just suggestion. Okay, in education management or in the school level, we have 4 things for the school management to think, especially the leader and the teachers. Maybe I thought this and it referring to your teacher and your leader also. Okay, we can do the SWOT analysis for your first, before you go to the gap, the school, I know the school know about that SWOT analysis. We can search for our strengths in school, our weakness, or for our the opportunity, and the T is referred to threat. But for your school level is not our control to change what is out of our scope, like the government, like the media social, and like the NGOs, not in school control. But the school can look for the whole about the strength of the school, the weakness of the school, how to cover education for all in that school, especially in your school. So your study, maybe you can go more narrow to the participant in your school. It's okay. It's okay. So we can go in deep, and we can share your finding, what happened in your school, what happened about the role of the school leader, the role of teacher, and maybe a little bit of a role of the parents, because this code is too wide, but it's okay. Very interesting. Thank you. Right. Okay.
Because the previous judges were all about comments or suggestions. I have a question actually. So you did interviews, right? So could you please walk us through the process of you analyzing the interviews, and maybe did you use any software of data analysis, or the whole journey of you analyzing the interview data?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Could you please share with us your data analysis process? I mean, like, after you interviewed the people there, right? So what are the steps that you have done in order to get your findings? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So for our interviews, we actually did some research before choosing the person we wanted to interview, such as the El Shaddai Center. For the El Shaddai Center, we did some research on their website. We learned about the contributions they made to the uneducated, and then we contacted Miss Dorothy, the person in charge of El Shaddai Center, for an interview, and we conducted the interview, and then we put the information from the interview into our slides. Thank you.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Sabah, for the thought-provoking presentation. Thank you to our respected judges for your valuable time, to all the presenters for your excellent efforts, and to our audience for your attention and support. We sincerely appreciate everyone's participation. Thank you. May I now request every group to remain seated while we proceed with the judges' comment and appreciation session. I'm sorry. Thank you and have a great day.